Someone told me on stream yesterday. I was like, completely unrelated, but you said ADHD, so it came up in my mind. I was like, no, because Chat was accusing me of having ADHD, and I was like, no, I don't have ADHD.
What?
I was like, I can focus on things. Like, I get really fixated on things sometimes, and they were like, focusing too much is a sign of ADHD, right? And I was like, what?
Yeah,
I googled it, and apparently it is.
Yeah.
How do wait? So I was like, wait, what? So if I concentrate too much on things.
You have ADHD.
But if I don't concentrate enough, I have ADHD too. And I'm like, wait, hold up. What does it mean? What is it? How does that work?
It's just, I don't know. It's like you can't be on too far off the either side of the spectrum.
Yeah.
Because then you have a problem.
I guess because it doesn't specify that you can't pay attention. It's attention deficit disorder. So
yeah,
too much attention at too little. But I was just like, what?
Yeah.
What? Who's making these rules up? Huh? I don't know.
People have ADHD, I guess.
People who are more informed than us, you know?
I was like, God damn, these people coming up with these definitions. I'm like, that's crazy.
It's usually the person that says you have ADHD. Like officially.
How do you test if someone concentrates too much? How do you I'm genuinely curious.
It's basically like you can't control yourself and you realize that, oh shit, it's like...
Oh, you're getting lost in something? Oh,
So you get obsessed with...
It's kind of OP though.
Yeah, it is, but at the same time, it's like you can't control it.
But I feel there's a lot of people like in just this internet age that, because we're so fucking oversensitized and just overwhelmed with all this fucking information, right? All at the same time, right? There are so many people who are just like, oh, there's so much fucking shit to do on the internet. Do I have ADHD? I'm like, no, you're just on the internet.
Yeah, sometimes I wonder, I'm like, I don't think like I have a problem. I think there's just so much shit that's being shoved in my face.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Sometimes, I don't know.
But that's why, like, I reckon there's probably, I mean, like...
I don't know. You have ADHD. How does it feel?
I mean, it is weird, right? Because the reason... I only like recently got diagnosed with ADHD, and it was just like the most aha moment of my life. Like, of course I do,
It's like, oh, that's what that was.
Yeah, because like, especially like growing up in Asian culture, mental health and mental conditions are very like don't exist. Like
literally that meme image of just don't be sad. Like cutting the water.
Yeah, cutting the water of like don't be sad. Don't be sad. So I remember like because I have this like such a vivid memory in school, right? Of I knew someone in school who got diagnosed with ADHD, and they got like some like advantage or something in like a test that we were taking, right? I got like extra time or something, and I remember like describing like what his experience of ADHD was, and I was just like, what a fucking liar. He like, what a fucking liar. I do that and he's getting some free time on an exam. What the fuck? And it just like for some reason it just never fucking occurred to me that unfortunately I had the same symptoms, because I was raised not even raised, but like a lot of people in my culture and the environment I grew up with, it was just it was put in our minds that mental health just wasn't really like, it was either like a very, very serious thing, or it just like just didn't exist, and you just got to get on with your day.
There's no
right?
such thing as a mild symptom. Right?
Yeah.
It's like you either had it or you don't have it.
So what made you think, I should go and see if I have it? Like, what was the turning point? What?
This is gonna be awful. Enough comments on Trash Taste.
No way, are you serious?
I am actually serious.
Wait, why? Because you were like fidgeting with things?
Huh?
Because you were fidgeting with things?
Honestly, seeing myself on camera, I'm just like, damn, man, I do that shit? What? Yeah. Like, because like, obviously I've never been on camera, and especially with me being on camera documented so much on Trash Taste, I'm like, damn, I do a lot of weird shit.
Psychoanalyze
all
the time.
Like, I understand.
We start to notice habits, right?
Yeah. I start to notice habits because you're looking at yourself through the third person. And then also, there's always going to be comments that are like psychoanalyzing and overanalyzing stuff.
Oh yeah,
but
people say some really wild shit.
Yeah. But then like, what I saw some comments that are just like, fuck, they kind of make sense. And then I Google it. Google what they say. I'm like, damn, that doesn't look like it's just someone talking out their ass. And then like the final straw was meeting someone here who has ADHD, and they describe their symptoms. I'm like, fuck, okay, I need to go get diagnosed. I need to go get checked out. And yeah, it was thanks to Trash Taste, I guess, and thanks to random YouTube comments.
Well done, guys.
Well done, guys. You're like, it's like the one time in the world where you guys were actually correct with your diagnosis, and you weren't just a bunch of like Reddit armchair psychologists.
I've seen some wild ones.
Yeah.
So some wild diagnoses.
Yeah, I did. I have as well.
The viewers of Trash Taste.
It's like, that's not an excuse to psychoanalyze all of us, okay? A broken clock is right 2 times, guys.
I remember my fucking when I was growing up, everyone was like convinced I had like dyslexia.
Yeah.
And like I was like, no, I don't think I do. Because I don't really have a problem reading the words. I just really fucking hate doing it.
Right.
But because they would describe the symptoms to me as like when I was like 10 or something. So to give some backstory to this, I went to a Welsh school. I didn't like reading. I liked gaming. I was probably my parents.
Gamer from birth.
My parents probably wished that nobody'd ever introduced me to gaming.
Yeah.
But I was introduced to gaming very, very young. Right.
Yeah.
We're talking like 4, 5, 6. I found out about video games and I became like obsessed. And I read the games. I've said this before. I beat one of the first games I ever played was Pokemon Gold in French, and I beat the whole game in French. I don't know how.
Even though you don't know any French.
Yeah, this must have been literally the birth of me bashing my head against the wall to figure out shit in video games and not reading. So I've been doing this since like a young age. I never really like read stuff. I just kind of did it. This is probably like sounds very like monkey-esque already, and not very.
Well, it's very like a primeval like.
Yeah, it is. It is. So, and I went to a Welsh school, so I didn't really read English like ever. We learned everything in Welsh. I spoke in Welsh in school, so I never read English like ever. The only thing I'd ever read is like we go to the store. I would just read the fucking
bread.
Bread, whatever. But when I would be quizzed on like how to spell shit, I like wouldn't know. They'd be like spell said, and I'd be like, oh yeah, just Z-E-D in it, said. So I'd be like, I don't know. Yeah, literally, yeah. So this is from like age like 8 or whatever. Like I was fucking awful. So when we started learning English more, I was like, I just don't read books ever. Yeah. And they were like, what? You didn't read books? And my parents were like, yeah, we tried to make him read. He wouldn't.
But he keeps playing those goddamn video games.
To be fair, my parents tried their goddamn hardest to get me to read. It was just not going to happen. Like I had absolutely zero interest in it.
Yeah.
So I was so bad at English, but like they knew I was very competent at all other subjects. Like I was very like maths and science and all that. Really high marks. Like I was, I got like A star and shit in maths and all that. So like the highest grade you can get. Did engineering and all that. So there's no problem with like I wasn't like bad at learning. It was just I just hated this one subject. But they were convinced. They were like, well, if he's competent in other stuff, he just must have some dyslexia or something. And they would tell me what the symptoms were. Yeah. And it was so annoying because as a kid, this is where I started learning where adults like fuck with you as a kid.
Yeah.
They would like try and spoon feed me the answers to like dyslexia. Right. They would like try and tell me I had symptoms that I didn't have.
And to like get you to agree to it.
Just because they wanted to have like that, like so they can tick it off. It's like, oh, we figured it out.
Yeah.
We sorted him out. And then whenever I have any issues, they'll be like, oh, don't worry, we don't have to put him in work. He's just dyslexic. You know what I mean?
Right.
This is where you're like, I get it because the teachers, they want an answer. They want a reason.
They want a solution, right?
They want to know why. And I can understand everyone wants a reason why, but like, unfortunately, mental health and shit like that and learning is like the most complicated shit known to man, and there is never ever just a one solution that fits all.
Yeah, like just because somebody sucks at something, it doesn't mean there's an inherent problem.
So I would like talk to my teachers and stuff, and I remember talking to my English teacher, and she like made me like stay after class, and she talked to me, and she'd be like, "So you can read these words, right?" And I was like, "Yeah, I can read them." And she's like, "They don't look like messed up or jumbled at all." And I was like, "No, not really." And then she was like, sometimes the words are hard to read. I'm like, yeah, I don't know the words sometimes. I don't really know it. So it's kind of hard to read because English is kind of funny and the pronunciation is weird. And then so she was like, okay. So then another teacher came in a few weeks later and started asking me more questions about dyslexia and stuff. And I was like, no, the words are not fucking jumbled, okay? I've seen the movies. They don't fucking do that. And I know that's not how it works, but I'm like, I do not have a problem. I can see all the letters in order. They do not move. I know what I'm reading. I am just shit at this subject and I don't like it.
Just like starts shaking your body like, what about now?
Yeah. It is literally like, it was literally like, I had... thank God I wasn't like I wasn't a kid that was just like, and I feel bad because like kids are so easily like pushed into saying yes or no.
Yeah.
I'm so glad I was a stubborn fuck from like a young age where I was like, no, the words are not jumbled. I don't have a problem reading the words. I just hate this shitty subject.
Yeah.
I hate English.
Yeah.
And they were like, no. You have to be. You have to have a disability.
Man, you dumb as fuck.
You must be. You must be.
I'm very glad that I don't know where I got the stubbornness from, but I was glad because like, I remember like it was really annoying, and they kept insisting I had it. I was like, no,
like, stop.
I do not have this. I have no problem reading of Mice and Men. I just don't like it. I'd rather watch the movie.
They're like trying to just like brainwash you. Right?
Yeah. Okay, so this is what I'm realizing. Like, and I understand now why, like, you know, this whole discussion about diagnosing kids is like, I get why it's like a touchy subject. And some parents are like, my kids, you can't diagnose them. And then, you know, some people are so quick to jump to it. It's a really uncomfortable subject and kind of touchy because the kids often can't, like, I was a kid, I couldn't fully express that. You know, I can't just be like, listen, I didn't really connect with the subject. I don't like it.
Yeah, they can't fend for themselves, right?
Yeah, I can't really fully explain why I don't engage with this.
Yeah.
But they, you know, they're just like, well,
but they're like, no, we're the adults. We know more than you.
Right, yeah, exactly.
So it's kind of it's weird, man. And I think that's why, like, when you get parents that are super passionate about it and stuff, and then there's also the thing of like, some parents don't want to get their kids diagnosed with things because they don't want to like be like, my kid has a problem or has something, right? My parents didn't really give a shit. They were like, if he's got it, whatever. Like, just deal with it. But yeah,
because I think with how mental health is now, it's just like, it feels like, at least it feels like, if you're diagnosed with something, then the kind of feeling is, oh, there's something wrong with me or something like that. You know, there's something broken with me. Because like with me and ADHD, for example, like I didn't realize that I was abnormal, you know, because I would do all these things to basically be able to like seem like I was able to function, you know, and I'd only learned recently that was like my coping mechanisms for like how my brain works, you know. Yeah, I'd figured out ways to live with it, and I thought everyone had to do that, you know. That's just what I thought, and like, especially like after being diagnosed, it hasn't like changed my life or anything like that. It's like the biggest thing that it's done for me is like, it's just helped me understand myself. And I think that's just, I think that's like the most valuable thing. Yeah, right?
Definitely.
It's
like, it makes sense of things that you were like, why am I like
this? Yeah, exactly. Because it's just helped me like deal with it even more. Because I just remembered, because it wasn't just the YouTube comments as well. I remember specifically seeing this one YouTube video, and that was like the last straw, where it was like where
Dr. Mike diagnosed
where it was like what ADHD feels like, and someone edited a video of their day and like edited it in a way to like show how they perceive the world. How they perceive the world. And it was like such a 1-for-1 copy of how I see the world. No. I was just like, oh my God. So like that was like the aha moment. Because I think that was one scene in particular, because he was going about his day and he was like being scolded by his teacher or his mum or something. And he was like fidgeting, right? He was fidgeting. And he would get told off for that, for him to, because his mom or his teacher, I can't remember who it was exactly, but they were just like, can you concentrate, please? I'm trying to tell you something serious and you're doing something else. And I'm just like, and he said, oh, but it helps me to concentrate. And I'm just like, that's been my entire life. That's been, I need to fidget with something in order to concentrate. And if I don't, I just lose like my trail of thought or something, right?
And he's just like me.
I was just like, holy shit. Oh, wow. Maybe I should fucking go in and get this.
So wait, so how do they, because I've always been curious, like when you go see a doctor, right, and you want to like, you know, figure out if you are actually diagnosed with it, how does the doctor like check that?
Well,
like, is there like a test?
He just puts like a Rubik's Cube on the table. He's like,
I'll be back in 15 minutes.
Puts like a fidget spinner on the table.
What do you think about this, huh?
Because I've always been curious, like, you know, how does the doctor like kind of determine whether you actually have ADHD or if it's just like something similar to that that's not necessarily ADHD, right?
Yeah, I mean, at the moment, I'm still like processing it and learning through it, because at the moment, at the beginning, they take you when they do like this. It's a survey at first, so it's like the first test, and then afterwards, if you tick enough boxes to be like, oh, okay, there's a chance, then you go into the psychologist and, you know, they ask you like a bunch of questions. For me at least, I don't know, because like another friend in England just recently got diagnosed with ADHD as well, and I think in England they have a different kind of process. I believe
it's probably different to every country.
Yeah. I think it's different to every country. In England, I believe there's like you have to go to like a group session as well, or something like that. Wow. It's different in every country, but for me, it was more just a one-on-one talk with with my, with the psychologist, where they just asked me like very detailed questions about my experiences, how I perceive events, and like I can't remember everything because there was like a lot of fucking questions. But it was basically like a therapy session where it's like, so tell me about this experience. Talk me about this. Tell me about that. And yeah, I mean, ever since being diagnosed, I've like I said, my life hasn't changed that much. I just know now it's like written in paper. That's that this.
You got the plaque now.
I got the plaque of just like, here's how your brain works and here's why your brain does this shit. Yeah. And now, ever since knowing that, I'm like, that makes sense. Now I have like a word to put to how I felt for a lot of my life.